Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Okay, so Clint, everybody does winners and losers, but this podcast we're all about winners. So instead of doing a winner and loser podcast, we're going to do a trade deadline award sort of ceremony where we're going to make up a couple awards. We're going to give some nominees. We'll discuss those nominees a little bit, and then we'll give out the award. I'm going to let Clint be the award giver for these ones, except we'll do a best and worst move, and we'll do that in a second. But we're going to start out with these sort of fun ones first. Clint, you ready to get into this?
Let's hand out some highly valuable awards.
That's right. So the first award we'll talk about is like I call hand in glove, like a perfect fit. So there were some teams that made some moves that you're like, oh, that is just going to work out. Here's some nominees I wrote down. AO to the Wolves really needed a guard. Knicks get Alvarado. Vucevic going to the Celtics, and KP to the Warriors.
So I like all of these. These are
Right.
good. The two that stick out the most to me were probably KP to the Warriors.
Yeah.
Obviously, dude has to stay healthy. He has that like autoimmune issue or whatever that keeps cropping up. And Desumnu to the Wolves.
Yes.
Because you're right. After they lost, went to the Hawks. No, I can't think of it.
Conley.
No, he went to a free agency to the Hawks.
Oh, Nikhil Alexander Walker.
Alexander Walker.
Yeah.
They kind of lost him for money reasons, and that's like a sore thumb that stuck out. Like his defense, his shooting. Now, I don't think Desumnu is the same player as Alexander Walker, but he is a replica to a degree. He's a pretty good shooter. He developed into a good shooter, and he is a heck of a defender. He doesn't really do much with the ball, but those two especially stood out to me.
Yeah. I liked those two. I would agree. They're kind of like the perfect match, and it's also what both teams needed. I don't know if like Alvarado, I liked it for the Knicks. I think that's a good pickup for the Knicks. He's got that tough mentality. He'll play strong defense. But did they need him? I don't really think they needed him. And Vuce, as much as Vucevic, again, I think that's a good get by the Celtics. I think he's going to fit well with them, but I think whether or not they actually will compete for a title largely depends on Tatum. So even though that was a good get, I think the other two were much more like needed. They needed those players. They need the Wolves needed another guard to take some pressure off of Ant, and then the Warriors really needed that stretch five, and KP, if he can be healthy, that's going to be a good pickup.
Yeah, and both well, all these people have opportunity to keep these players, but especially for the Wolves to be able to get them in-house. Same with the Warriors. When you're over these aprons, like you only have minimums or like biannual exceptions, and none of these guys are taking that. But when you have the player in-house, even if it's the non-bird rights and it's like 110% of their current salary, they might be willing to take that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Okay, so give out the award, Clint. Who
I will give this golden hand in a glove to the Wolves for getting Desumnu.
Okay, I like it. I wish I had my soundboard. I do have a soundboard packed away, and I could have done the clapping here. That's on me, but that's okay. We'll give it to Sumo to the Wolves. So, okay, you ready to go on to the next award? Yep. Okay, so this is the Tomorrow Comes Award. So this is going to be the rewarded to the team that set them up for next year. So it's not this year, because there's some teams that made some moves that really set them up for next year, knowing they are not going to do. And the three options I have: the Pacers, who traded for Zubac, right? But obviously they're not going anywhere this year. This is a move to help them out next year. The Wizards getting Trae Young earlier this season, but adding AD, or the Utah Jazz adding Triple J.
All good. All teams that went for next year. All teams that the tank is on, especially
Yep.
the Pacers with that protected pick.
Yep.
They don't want any part of winning. I just think they should get the honorable Detroit Pistons 5th pick award for this draft, just because they protected it 1 for 4. Slot them in at 5. I think in that trade, like you said, all these are for tomorrow. I tend to lean towards, because they're in the East, the Wizards, and because they gave up next to nothing to acquire 2 players that you can have your different mileage on. Anthony Davis, not always healthy. Trae Young, size, doesn't always seem fun to play with. But they didn't give up next to nothing. You know, some of these picks are highly protected, or the Thunder pick this year.
Right.
The Jazz we talked about. I do like the Jazz for the aspect of Will Hardy's a really good coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when they want to turn it on, I think they can be good.
Yeah. So would you say, like, you're like, because the part of it is like which one is also most intriguing to us as well, right? So I am intrigued by all 3 of these teams. I think and we talked about it, what kind of docks some points off of Utah is they're in the West. They got a good coach, but the 3 bigs, I don't know if it's going to work in the West. If they were in the East, I'd be more intrigued by them. The Pacers putting Zoo on that roster that needs a center, very intriguing. However, I don't know if it's going to work necessarily with the style of play that the Pacers are used to with Halliburton, when Halliburton needs, he worked with like Miles Turner and Obi Toppin, who are stretch 5s. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does with Zoo, who's more of like a pick and roll, get to the rim, post up type of guy. I kind of am intrigued, but I'm more intrigued. I'm kind of with you on the Wizards, because it's kind of like, if they can stay healthy, obviously they're not going to contend, but could they be kind of fun next year to watch with Trae Young, Sar? I almost said Alex Len, but Alex Sar and AD, and then whoever they might add in the draft. I think they're going to be kind of interesting next year.
Yeah, I would agree. I will give the award to the Wizards for that.
Okay.
I think Utah was a close second, because I trust like what they do. I do think they have a really good infrastructure, and they will make it work. You know, they're not, marketing, hey, they might cut his minutes, or Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, they're not afraid to do those types of things. And I just think, we'll probably get to some of it later. I think the Pacers like paid a lot for a questionable fit.
Okay, right. Okay, gotcha. I like it. So the Tomorrow Comes award goes to the Washington Wizards. Okay, let's go to the Folgers Award. So there's a jingle back in the day. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. And I was thinking, who gets this award is the people or the team or player or whatever most excited after the deadline, the day after the deadline. They're like, oh, I'm so glad to wake up the day after the deadline. Okay. Here are our 3 nominees, the East and West contenders, because even though there's a lot of moves in between the lines, no like huge move that would put a team over the top in either conference. Giannis and Shams breaking news constantly. Oh, he's going to be traded. Oh, now, the trade's heating up. We don't have to worry about that anymore. So just kind of like the Twitter fans and not having to hear that for the rest of the year, or Karl Anthony Towns not hearing that he might be put into a trade for the New York Knicks, getting rid of him to move on for Giannis or another player. So, and if you have another, go ahead and throw it in there, but those are the main 3 nominees.
Strong categories. As far as Karl Anthony Towns, you're right. Sometimes it's hard to play when everyone just wants you gone. And you can feel it, like it wasn't going good. The Knicks have maybe turned a corner. They played a little better, but if you're him, you can wake up tomorrow and be like, cool, through June, I'm set. I don't have to worry about this. The East and West contenders, you're right. No one did anything like in that middle area, like Jaren Jackson Jr., but they don't want to win.
Right.
We already talked about AD. They don't want to win. The Pacers, they don't want to win. Those teams in the middle, Knicks, I guess they are a contender, but no one really did anything. So status quo kind of rules. And then the Giannis Shams news thing is hilarious. It's like, it's just funny to watch, like the back and forth, the pettiness. So that's a really strong category, because in either side. Like if you think of it from the Pistons point of view, you're like, cool. No one in the East did anything that I'm like,
Right.
well, now it's tougher.
Right. Agreed. And that's why it's like I felt like this category is good with these strong candidates because I think everyone in this is just like a sigh of relief because I can't tell you like I have a friend who's a Bucks fan who every time you're on, oh, it's really happening this time. Oh, it's really happening this time. And it's like, okay, let's settle down. So it's gonna be a relief to not have to get those news. And the contenders, like I said, some of them made like moves along lines. We talked about a couple of them, but nobody made anything that I think put somebody clear favorites in either the East or the West. So Clint, who gets the Folgers Award?
The Folgers Award is going to Giannis. Bucks fans, I don't know if you follow Giannis on Instagram or Twitter, or if you follow the Bucks. Strong language warning if you do go to his Instagram page. But after the trade deadline, the post that he made was "It's a Wolf of Wall Street" line was great. Like flaming, the Bucks put out Giannis is looking to listen to trade offers for Shams in the upcoming celebrity game. Like they really went in on trolling him. So from that aspect, it was hilarious. It's annoying. I mean, we've talked about it for years. Like this is literally back to 2017 now of like Giannis wants to leave. And I've said it before. You've said it before. Like we keep getting Giannis is going to leave and that's what they lead with and they keep. And then you're like, oh, Jaren Jackson Jr. got traded. Like if we spent time doing other things, people, there's plenty of big names like Luka that just suddenly get traded that no one has an inkling in, but we're 9 years strong trying to get Giannis traded. Another one passed. Let's do it. Folgers golden cup, golden tin of coffee. Bring it our way.
I love it. I love it. Yep. I love it. Good winner there. Okay, let's go to the Vince Lombardi trophy. You suggested this one. I thought this was a good one. He's known for the famous phrase, basically, what's going on around here? Like, what's happening? And that's who we're going to award this to one of two teams. If you have another team you want to throw in there, maybe like the Pacers or whatever, to talk a little bit more about their trade, that's fine. But the two teams you sent me, Kings, Bulls.
Again, these teams like just mirror each other.
Yes.
You know, you see what the Bulls do. At least I sent this to you before, and then they made like the Desumu trade, which okay, you got Rob Dillingham back,
right?
Guard.
Yes.
But your mileage may vary on that. But again, it's still just some second round picks. Kobe White, second round picks. Vucevic, Anthony Simons. Your mileage may vary on that. It goes back even further. We can go through all the trades. Kings, same thing. You know, what do? We help the Cavs and we take DeAndre Hunter. We don't get rid of Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, Sabonis, like all these guys that you've like took a flamethrower to and kind of like thrown bench, complained about. I don't know what these teams are doing. I thought about adding the Pacers in here, but I think the Pacers are like a good team, and I just don't happen to like the trade that they made. But like the Bulls and the Kings just fight this off over taking assets and then just grinding them down to we get nothing for them besides congratulations. The Bulls have like 9 second-round picks for having all those really good players.
Yeah, and what I like too about these two teams, it's like at the trade deadline they kind of contrast each other. Where the Kings made like a move for Hunter, but really they didn't do anything to shake up their lineup too much, right? Like they kind of stay put, stay pat. We're going to be stubborn when they probably should have blown it up. Where the Bulls, they did a lot during the trade deadline, but it's like let's add another guard. Do we need another guard? Let's add another guard. Do you think the Bulls are going to try the first 4 guard lineup?
They're going to switch. All these teams are going big. Like Utah's about to go huge. The Bulls are going to be like, can we alter? The Raptors tried the like all 6'7" to 6'9" lineup. The Bulls are going to be like, hey, can we have one center and no one taller than 6'6"?
Yeah, I like that. Okay, who we awarding this award to? The Lombardi Award.
I'm going to give it to the Kings this time for lack of. They made the one trade, which was stupid, taking back that contract. But then again, they didn't do anything else. They didn't get rid of these guys. So again, you're just going to drag it to the off season, and then they're going to make some other god awful trade.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to them. You know, Vince Lombardi can stand there on the sideline and yell, looking at the Kings logo. What the heck is going on out there in Sacramento?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So the Lombardi Award, not trophy. Okay, that's being decided on Sunday. The award will go to the Sacramento King. Okay, let's do the Fresh Prince Award. So this goes based off the meme or the GIF that Will Smith standing in a room all by himself, like there's nothing left, or kind of like what's going on here or whatever. Like it's sort of sad. I put Bulls fans down because they look at their roster and it's like, what did we do? What's going on? But then there's the two that kind of maybe personify the meme or the moment more, which is Kawhi Leonard, because the Clippers traded Zoo, Harden, Paul George has been gone already, Norman Powell's gone, he's like the last man standing, and then Ja Morant. No, Triple J gone. I almost said Cad Bane. Desmond Bane. That's a Star Wars character. Desmond Bane. He's gone. So, and again, you can add anybody else in here. But what do you think about these options for the Fresh Prince Award?
That's good. Like Bulls fans, like the more that this goes on, the more that you can it just like eats at them. Like, and it's so as someone who doesn't like the Bulls, it's so frustrating to have such like a huge fan base and such a worldwide known name, logo, the Chicago Bulls, and it's just year after year of what is left. And you're right, if you're Bulls fans, you just look at the court like, I don't even know what I'm looking at this point. Kawhi, he went out there to win. Now he's the last man standing. You know, despite all of kind of his sideshow stuff and injury stuff, now he's probably the healthiest he's been in a while, and now it's all gone. And he just looking out there like, what's going on? And Ja Morant, I guess I feel less bad for, because him kind of losing it kind of started the snowball down the hill. And after that, you can't count on Ja Morant for anything besides playing less than 50 games in a year. So I don't feel bad for Ja Morant. I guess I would change it from Ja Morant to Grizzlies fans.
Oh, sure.
Getting shocked the last 2 years.
That's a good one. Yeah, Grizzlies fans. Yeah, it's just like if you after what happened this year, if you're like, hey, what's like star player or closest star player do you expect to be traded? Ja would have been like one of the top 3 options, right? Like, and he didn't get traded, which it's just baffling that they just didn't take the best offer. According to what I understood from Piston Twitter, after they trade Ivy, you should just take whatever offers out there. You know, you shouldn't hold on to players. So, Kawhi, like, it was funny because like 30 minutes after this, Zoo, I think, was traded almost like 30 minutes before the deadline, something like that. And then people were wondering about Kawhi, and it was like, it's not enough time to get enough offers and figure out Kawhi. And then like, I think 20 minutes later, they're like, no, they're not moving Kawhi. Kawhi's staying. So, but you got to look around and be like, man, I came here to win a championship and everything that was with me is gone now. And then like you mentioned Bull fans, I think that's like really good. It's just like, hey, we brought in Ivy, a nice young guard, and they brought in Dillingham, and they got young. And it's like, now we don't have minutes. Can you trade for minutes?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So very, 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 good award. If you want to give it to the Grizzly fans, go ahead, but give us who wins the award.
I will give it to Kawhi.
Yeah,
because I just think they did everything to try to win. Again, it doesn't always work out. It definitely didn't work out for the Clippers, but all the guys that have come and gone now, he's just, after today and the other day with Harden, just him standing there like, all right, well, we're not winning this year, and we don't know what's going to happen, if he's going to get suspended, if something's going to come out of the investigation or whatever. But it's just him left, and his future, if he wants to win, is not going to be in the Clippers going forward.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they they didn't have kind of a move ready for him if they were going to trade Zoo. And the reason why is it's like it's his best year so far since he's left Toronto. Like his just his stats are better since the time he was in Toronto. And how many more like real healthy years are going to get out of Kawhi? So yeah, good winner. Kawhi wins the Fresh Prince of Bel Air trophy. Okay, let's go. I mean, award. Let's go to our next award, the Couch Potato Award. These are teams that didn't do nothing at the trade deadline. I have the Miami Heat, Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, and Orlando Magic. I'm going to throw in there. Uh, let's break this down. Why do you think that? Like, my first question is for the Rockets. Why didn't they needed another ball handler, right? Like another guard?
Yeah, they're the team that stands out to me in this category. Is it's kind of slipping away from them. The still lack of a guard that can do something. And again, Reed Shepherd, his shooting is there. He does a little something, but they still don't have it. They're closing crunch time of Şengün and Kevin Durant. While both players are really good, when you have two bigger guys, teams have kind of pressed Durant at half court, make him give up the ball. It eats some time. So I was surprised. I thought the Rockets would feel a little desperation here. The West kind of slipping away from them. The Spurs pulling away. The other teams look fine, but that really stood out to me because I thought the Rockets, okay, this is a team. Kevin Durant is old. Like, it's not getting better from here on, even though he's playing really good. I can't believe they didn't attempt anything.
Do you feel like any of these other teams, like you think of the Spurs, right? They're a young team. Maybe they're okay with just standing pat. The Miami's probably waiting until the offseason to make a move. Maybe the only prize they wanted was Giannis. And then the Magic, maybe their big move already happened and they couldn't do anything. So do you feel like any of the other three teams kind of come close to the Rockets, or do you feel like this is kind of the Rockets?
Yeah, I don't think the other teams come like the Spurs. I think they want to see how the playoffs work.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's rolling now. Their lack of spacing, the way they play, maybe it's a regular season thing, and we get to the playoffs, and then teams kind of intensify, and then you're like, oh, okay, we need to make a change. But they're like not in a hurry to do it. They got all these young guys, so it's not make or break. Miami, I think Miami is always big game hunting, and they're just going to keep. I mean, they've been doing this for quite a while now, like just hoping Giannis, someone else breaks free. And then I think the Magic, I think they made their move, and now they're just going to play out the season and attempt it in the summer. Like, there's been talk of like Paolo, like you could trade Paolo for Giannis if you wanted to do that, but that can't happen into the summer because of his contract. So I think the Magic were kind of like stuck, like we did it. And if we're going to go down with this ship, we'll probably have a new coach and change things up this offseason.
Yeah, I think you're right. So the winner of the Couch Potato Award goes to
the Rockets.
Yeah.
They're on the timeline crunch.
Yeah, totally agree. Not as strong of a category in that one, I don't think. Okay, let's go to our next award. I put this one simply, okay, that happened. So this is like playoff teams. Maybe it could be a contender or like a fringe contender made moves, but it's like, okay, that happened. Like, okay, you'll see what I mean by some of these moves. The Lakers traded for Luke Kennard. Okay, that happened. The Pistons traded for Kevin Huerter. Okay, that happened. The Suns traded for Cole Anthony. Okay. The Toronto Raptors I added traded for Chris Paul.
I was just gonna add that. I pulled it up on my phone. I'm like, I'm gonna add Chris Paul to the Raptors on this one.
I had to add that. Okay, so thoughts on this award and some of these moves?
Yeah. The Suns and Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey, it's like, I think it's a salary. Like they're trying to cut some salary to get out of whatever, but you're like, all right, cool, Cole Anthony.
Right.
I was high on Cole Anthony. If you go back and listen, like, oh, Cole Anthony, he might do something. My son gives me a hard time. Like, I'm watching Cole Anthony, like, oh my gosh, I don't think this dude plays rec league basketball half the time. The Lakers and Kennard. Luke Kennard is one of those guys that like he's such a good shooter that he just hangs on. But
Yeah.
literally, I mean, he's a pretty decent ball handler too, but literally does nothing else.
Well,
Like
it's
you
gonna
can't
be
play him much.
right. Could you imagine like him, Reeves, and Luca and LeBron on the court together? And it's like, okay, who's playing defense? It's gonna be awful.
Like it's gonna be LeBron and a bunch of white guys out there trying to
That's
get some
true.
spacing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Aldama.
one's like, all right, cool, Kennard. And the Pistons getting Herter. All right, I guess. But I think my favorite is the Chris Paul to the Raptors, to which they're like, you don't have to report to us, but we're trading for you.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. I threw that one in there too late because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened. Like that's why I put it in there late. But I mean, I agree with you on all your points. You know, the Herter trade, it was funny because the Pistons lost to the Wizards tonight and Luke's over, and I told Luke that they shot outside Duncan Robinson 3 for 18 from the field as a team. And I was like, don't worry, 31% 3-point shooter Kevin Herter is going to help with that. Yeah.
On
So
the way.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm not impressed with what between Kennard, that move, or the Pistons move. Like you said, I think it's like Cole Anthony. It's like whatever, but the Suns are frisky. So if they would have made a bigger move, it would have been more interesting. And I'm not talking like a huge move, just a little bigger move. But they went with Cole Anthony. It's just something, I guess. And then, but the Chris Paul one, that was crazy. So give us your winner for the Okay That Happened award.
I will give it to the Lakers and Luke Kennard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really want to give it to the Raptors and Chris Paul, but I don't think Chris Paul is actually
Upset.
gonna
That's
play
an upset.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Lakers, like, trying to semi-be competitive when they struggle on defense, bringing in Luke Kennard, you're like, all right, don't connect? No.
Yeah. And the thing is they need perimeter defense. That's what they needed, and they went out and got like not that. So that's a good one. Okay, let's go to our next award, the Grass is Greener Award. So this goes to some of the players that got traded that will have an opportunity maybe to, either do something different in their new spot or could flourish in their new spot. Who you think that might be? So Jaden Ivey going to the Bulls, Kuminga going to the Hawks, McCain being traded to the Thunder. Ellis.
Keon Ellis, yeah.
Okay, Keon Ellis. I put Ellis. I'm like, okay. And then Benedict Mathurin, who was traded to the Clippers. So give us some of your thoughts maybe of these teams, of these players, of where they're going to be and, how you're feeling about it.
Yeah. I want to see what Ivy can do. I'm worried that
with all the guards
have so many guards. Like,
yeah.
They're like, oh, is it going to be like, oh, Ivy's hot tonight, we'll let him in, or the next night Dillingham looks good, so he stays in, or Simons is, on a flamethrower, so he stays in, and then no one's getting like real burn here. Kuminga to the Hawks is like interesting but weird because he fits in with the guys of like size. Mm-hmm. But again, I think he wants to be a dude, and they got Jalen Johnson, and I doubt that the Hawks are like, yeah, cool, let's see what Kuminga can do. But he fits their size profile. Maybe Toronto Raptors South here. We're going with all these guys with like size. Sure. McCain I like, but I don't know that he's going to get some run now with SGA out, but I don't know that he's going to get to like explore the studio as far as playing time. Ellis, I really like Keon Ellis. I think he's going to be an important part, though now having James Harden, maybe his role is diminished more to just catch and shoot dude from the corner. But Mathurin, that's a confident dude. When he gets time to do it, and now he's going to get plenty of time, whether Kawhi keeps playing or Kawhi kind of backs off now that it's obvious they're not going for the playoffs. So Mathurin, he might get a lot of time to try to get himself paid this summer.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of interested like in Kuminga, if they kind of like commit to him being the second guy, because like, Dyson Daniels has dropped off a little bit. They don't really have like that second dude outside of Johnson. I wonder if that could be like, because when he was a Warrior, he's basically, you're going to be our 3-and-D guy. We don't want you to do a whole lot, right? Like, so I'm kind of intrigued with him being a Hawk if they'll make him the second guy. But it is a weird fit because you have Ricochet, Johnson, Daniels, and him now. So those four, we'll see how they fit those. I agree with you on McCain. I am interested in Matherin, especially if, again, he'll maybe get more of a run, like you said, as a Clipper, so maybe he'll be able to expand his game a little bit. And yeah, I'm a little sad for Ivy with all those guards. So yeah, I'm on par with you with most of these things. Okay, grass is greener. Clint, who's getting this award?
I'm going to give it to Matherin. I think he has the best opportunity to just run and gun the second half of this year. And I think with the trades that they've made, I didn't pull up a cap sheet, but I'm sure he's a young enough guy that the Clippers, who are seemingly going young, would be willing to pay him and give him more of a role as they attempt their rebuild.
I like it. Okay, beautiful. Okay, you got any other awards, or should we just go to our favorite move and our worst move?
We can go to our favorite and worst.
Okay, let's do our worst. We'll end on a positive note. Although everybody again is winner, they're all getting awards. So positive participation trophies, baby. Okay, worst move. Okay, tell the audience again what would you like to call the award? Because the reference is, I've seen the movie, but the reference is a little lost on me.
I'm a big Anchorman fan, and when you sent me awards, the one that I thought of, because I thought of like, oh, what's a trade I didn't like, and it was the Brick Tamlin. Where did you make that trade? The toilet store, from the movie, and it came. I didn't think it because I texted this you before, but the trade I probably liked the least, of consequence, besides some of these small ones, was the Pacers getting Zubac.
Okay.
And the only reason is like what they gave up for him, because I do think Zubac is a good player.
Right.
I do think his best season may have been last year. It's a little down this year. He's not old, but he'll be 29 next year when they actually need him, because they obviously don't need him this year. But giving up Matherin, which I'm sure they're like, fine, hey, we're not going to pay the dude anyhow. But a 2029 unprotected first, and for all intents and purposes, this year it's only going to be if it's pick 5. I mean, it's pick 5 through 9. It's basically only going to be pick 5 or 6, depending on how the standings find out. But if it doesn't convey this year, it becomes a 2031 unprotected pick. Like, that's 2 unprotected picks and a young, decent player for Zubac. It seems a little steep to me.
Yeah.
And if that's what you're going to give up, part of me goes, why didn't you just pay the extra $3 or $4 million to keep Miles Turner?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You can keep your same thing. It doesn't have to be. He didn't want like a 5-year deal. He was willing to do like a 3 or 4-year deal. So you would already be 2 years left, which Zubac has 2 years left after this year. At least Turner knows the system. He has the spacing. They both are kind of opposite. They have strengths and weaknesses, but you're right. Like, the spacing is going to change on how the Pacers played. You can overcome it because Zubac is a better post player. He can throw some passes out of there. So I don't think it's like, wow, you just made this move and you're going to be bad now. But that's a big change to how they've played, and they've really kind of thinned out their team, and they've been notoriously cheap. So they're going to have to fill out their roster while never wanting to pay the tax, it appears. So that wasn't my favorite trade. Just, I thought that's a lot to give up for a perfectly good player, but he's not like a star player.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Makes total sense. You wonder if like part of it is like, because they needed a center, they weren't going to probably play Matherin, and they're like, hey, we're going to go hard for it next year. And if you win a title, it doesn't matter how much you give up, right? And the East is weak. Now, with that said, you're right. They could have probably just paid Miles Turner the extra $4 million. Didn't have to go after Zoo. But I would say, like, in fairness, I think Zoo is better than Turner is right now. So that's the approach. So your toilet suit award goes to.
I'll give it to the Pacers trade.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, the Pacers trade. Okay, beautiful. Okay, let me ask you, I'm gonna throw a couple curveball trades awards here. How about most disappointed team award? Like, what team are you the most disappointed in, whether it's the moves they made or the moves they didn't make? We talked a little bit about the Rockets, but even throw the teams maybe that made moves. Is there a team out there that you're most disappointed in? Just, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would guess the Rockets did make a move, but we already talked about the Rockets. The Knicks, they're kind of capped out. I would have liked to see the Knicks do something. It's just they seem again like this is not working. And now that there's trade rumors, like I don't think Jose Alvarado is like, wow,
Sure.
our season is fixed. Lakers fall in this category too. And the Warriors, I think, just kind of dipped out. But yeah, I guess I would give it to the Knicks. I just thought they should do so. Like Yabusele, they just basically dumped him. I thought Yabusele was going to be like a perfect player for that team.
Yeah, me too.
They can't
Yeah.
figure out how to get him to do anything. So I think I'm disappointed in the Knicks because again, your window is closing fast.
Yeah.
And this is it, whether I like Zubac or not. The Pacers are back next year. The Celtics are definitely back next year. And some of these other teams might come around and you just kind of did nothing and hope that James Harden poops the bed against you in the playoffs, I guess is their plan.
Okay. Okay. And then another award I just thought of too while we were recording is the most disappointing player that wasn't traded. So like Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, MPJ, Ja Morant, Kawhi maybe or any other players you might think of. Is there one that you really would have liked to see on a different team?
I think it's got to be Michael Porter Jr.
Mm.
I don't know what they're waiting for. I feel like even Jeremy Grant, like these guys that these teams hold on to,
Right.
like it's such a slippery slope. And I thought about these players, like we talked about, was it 2 years ago when Memphis was like rumored to get Anunoby? And they were like, oh, we don't want to give up the extra picks because we're
Right.
building for the future. And you're like, look what happened.
Yeah.
It just fell apart. These guys, sometimes you just got to move off of them. And I think, especially for the Nets where they're at, like Michael Porter Jr., great. He looks awesome. With that injury history, whatever you can get. If there was just one first and some seconds, I think you got to move it like a hot potato.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. Um, Herb Jones is another one that I'm just like I wouldn't mind the award. And then I'm gonna just throw that obviously you give out the award, so we're gonna award it to Michael Porter Jr. But Ja Morant, if on a different when he's engaged, when he's just so fun to watch. And it would be nice if he was in a situation where maybe it like reinvigorated his love for basketball. So we could have, because he's only 26, so like at least 3 to 4 more years of Ja Morant. You know what I'm saying? Because as he gets older and his athleticism starts to die more and more, he's not gonna have the explosiveness and the be as fun to watch. So that's another one, but we'll give it to MPJ.
Yeah, and I think that the Grizzlies refuse to just
Drop
take
him.
what they could get.
Right, right.
And I think again I get the look of it. You don't want to trade Ja Morant for what they got for like Trey Young, but again, I don't think that's an asset that's going to improve. And I saw that they wanted like Khalil Ware or Jaime Jaquez and a first round pick for him, and I was like, well, good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Favorite move. What was your favorite move? Who are you giving that award to?
My favorite move, I really like the Kobe White to the Hornets.
Okay. Kobe White
I
to the
just think
Hornets.
with that fit, it's one of those where I think it's seamless. And I know it's like there's so many bigger moves that are probably of more consequence. But if a team is making a trade, like we need a guard that can do this and play this system so we can just, I think they just cruise to another win tonight, like 8 in a row. Kobe White is like exactly what that team would need. Like, we need a backup guard. I think he fits perfect. They didn't have to, again, they didn't give up basically anything to
Right.
get him. Colin Sexton, wow, it was a failed experiment.
Right.
So I think it's not the biggest name, but I think as far as fit, I think they're going to get a lot of miles out of that trade.
I like that one, and I like that you didn't pick like one of the obvious ones. I will say sneaky for me. I do like the Darius Garland trade for the Clippers. Just if giving up Harden, just because like I love watching Kawhi. I don't like watching Harden play at all. So now watching the Clippers will be more fun. Okay, final thing: is there a team, one team that if you're like you won this trade deadline, so we'll call it just like the 2026 trade deadline award, who we giving that to for team wise?
The Clippers.
Yeah, I thought so
think
too. Yeah.
I think between, again, we don't know what Garland, but I think I was listening to Zach Lowe where it was like that's one of those trades where this time next year, if Garland comes back healthy with his toes, you're like, wow, they really got this dude for a 36-year-old James Harden.
Yeah.
I just think with Garland, those extra picks, if you're keeping Kawhi, Mathurin, like now you got a backcourt, you got Kawhi. If he wants to stay, if you want to go for it, you got some money freedom, you got some picks if you need to trade. Like I think they did a pretty good job of, I don't want to call it like a quick rebuild, but giving them a chance to have a high ceiling quick.
Okay, I love it. I love it. That would have been my pick as well. I don't know, I don't know if there's a close second, but I'm gonna stick with the Clippers. I don't like have we've been podcasting like 3-4 days in a row, so I'm just like got no brain capacity. Okay.
Yeah.
That ends our award show. So everybody is a winner at the trade deadline. It just depends what you won. That's all. Anything else regarding the trade deadline, Clint? Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.